Today, we'll hear from Nick Gosling, who is our communications manager for the coalition. Nick's a little bit of an unsung hero as he's been doing a ton of great work behind the scenes to improve our communication systems and making a lot of improvements to uh, accessibility on our various web platforms, creating a lot of great content that's going into those different websites. And that will be the focus of today's office hours. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Nick, and I understand you're going to be flipping through different slides and then also showing some real-time content on the web pages.
Yeah. Hey, Terry, Joe, Paul, and Ken. Nick Gosling. I started at CPCNH in February this year. And, been involved in building out a lot of our comms and outreach methods. So focus today is largely on our digital communications, and I was hoping this could be as interactive as possible. So we can drop links to specific web pages and content in the chat here. I was just wondering, does this setup work, or are you seeing the Zoom panel on here?
Yeah, I think this works fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So we'll share out the recording in the deck afterwards, and all right. So yeah, let's just go through this. These tools are really meant to support our members and our customers to encourage more engagement with members, customers, and the general public. We have a number of email campaigns that we leverage for specific content. Some of these web pages provide really a one-stop shop for residents to find information on their community power programs and their rates. A lot of this we're leveraging as sort of a single source of communications, a single source that so that members, customers can use reliably, and just building out some of our networks, our connections with hopefully new audiences. So a key to this is our email outreach. So we have a form that we've embedded across. We have the two websites, the .gov and .org, and those directly feed our MailChimp system that we use for a lot of our outreach communications, our newsletter, our rate announcements, our legislative action alerts. That form is on the homepage of both the .gov and .org website. It's on the news section of the .org website, and it's pretty simple, straightforward, and it allows users to sign up for those specific emails, that specific type of content. And so that's been embedded across both websites, and it's really easy to share, communicate out, to share with your own constituents and anyone you might be communicating with. We also
Nick, do you want us to jump in if we have some questions, or should we wait?
I'm fine if you jump in. It's only four.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I was just wondering, I noticed the mailing list request went up a while ago. I was wondering what kind of response you'd gotten from customers.
Mailing list request. Do you mean this form?
Yep.
I don't know how many opt-ins. So we're not sending this necessarily to customers. Our our contact center is sharing links to it with customers. This is more general outreach and communications with the public. We've had a pretty healthy sign up since the mailing form has been put out there. Yeah, I don't.
Do you know if any statistics on that are going to be in the board meeting packets, for example?
We can share this out. Paul, can you just share like what specific statistics you want?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where I'm going with that. I'm both the Energy Committee chair and the basically the person who's responsible for community power in Barrington. And one of our main key problems here has been communicating with town residents in general, but also the community power customers. We don't have any direct way of getting any kind of an email list together. Postal fees are prohibitive. And I was wondering if there would be any possibility of any kind of list sharing with which we could start to build a list of that sort.
I mean, we could discuss it internally at member services. I think one kind of just low-hanging option is to just share the sign-up form with customers, have them opt into the community to our mailing list in particular, and you can even do that by just sharing your community power webpage on the .gov website. This form is embedded there. Encourage folks to visit that page and opt in themselves.
We do that, but there's sort of a chicken and egg problem with that. We don't have much traffic.
Yeah, I'll jump in here a little bit as well, just to provide some more context. As Nick said, we are seeing great levels of uptake for this. We are planning to start reporting some more detailed web traffic and comms related statistics at the member outreach and engagement committee level. Those will make it into the board packet as part of that committee report at a minimum. And as Nick mentioned, where we're, I think, driving some of the uptake is, well, there's a couple different methods. One is that, every time we're talking to communities now, select boards, energy committees, Andrew and I specifically have been plugging this as a great feature. And I think there's been some community level sharing of that as an option, which is great. But where I think we're going to get a lot of engagement and are starting to get a lot of engagement in using this feature is from, as Nick mentioned, excuse me, the contact center is bringing this up to folks that call in or email that are interested in, maybe they're even opting out, but they want to know when it might be a good time to opt in the future. So they sign up for that rate announcement so they at least have the information to make a decision as it makes sense to them. But in terms of sharing, Paul, like contact information for folks in Barrington specifically, I think we need to consider that a little bit more. I mean, there are, data privacy protection rules and
Yes.
things that, we'd want to operate within. So
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up as a thought.
appreciate it. And I see Joe, you have a hand up. So go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you were going to talk about it, but if you could touch on the difference between the CPCNH org and CommunityPower.gov, the two different pages there. And then the other thing is, I was thinking about maybe creating a group ID for the New Market Aggregation Committee. Is that an option that we can do something like that?
What do you mean a group ID, Joe? Do you mean like a email mailing list?
Yeah, exactly. That, because the members of the committee change, and I'm trying to get some other people to step up now and become more involved in community power as I step out at some point in time.
Internally, we've begun managing our our Outlook email list more directly. I think this is more, we can discuss in member services, building that list. I mean, we have the ability to do it.
Okay, all right. Well, something to think about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could build it. I just want to touch base with Jackson, see this is an additional add-on that we want to offer to members.
All right, and then the other thing is, again, if you just talk about a little bit CPCNH homepage versus the Community Power Gov page there.
Yeah, right now we have two websites. We have the .org and the .gov. The .gov is kind of our customer portal. The .org is information about our programs, projects, and kind of the about us, about CPCNH webpage. It's not, I would say it's not doing us a lot of favors having these two separate websites. From search ability, from just searching for Community Power Coalition in New Hampshire and finding two different websites. And I'm not sure it benefits our customers having this a lot of this news and information on a whole new website that they have to flip over to.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I find it a little confusing, and I'm somewhat involved in what's going on, so where do I go? Do I go here or do I go there? Type of a thing.
Yeah, understandably. That's when I applied for this job and was interviewed. That was like one of the first interview questions. We have.
Is any of the information on one of those sites proprietary to members or officers or something like that, or is there a reason why we have two, or they just evolved over time?
I think we started with the .org site, and eventually we got I guess I don't know for sure, but Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just jump in with my understanding of a little bit of the history there. So yeah, the .gov, or excuse me, the .org website was the initial website that was created that housed all the general information about CPCNH and sort of things. We were posting things there during the startup phase. And then the reason a separate .gov website was created is we finally got permission to have a .gov based domain, and everyone felt it was important at the time that customers were interacting with their account information through a .gov based domain, and that's why those individual program pages started being hosted through the .gov platform. But as Nick brought up, a priority of the member services team throughout the remainder of this year is to work on, and we do have a plan in place to try to merge these websites together to consolidate them on the .gov based platform. And that way we can avoid any of these confusing issues going forward, maintain that .gov domain, and have it be a little more user-friendly. Some of that is only made possible through some of the great work Nick has done in changing a lot of our pages within the Wix environment to be what's called dynamic content or dynamic pages, which allows us to host a greater amount of information than we were able to otherwise, which was one of the initial concerns about merging the websites together. So, yeah, I'm sure Nick might have more to say about that, but it's a little more context there.
Yeah, that's an exclusive announcement to our members that we have a strategy, a plan that we can put into place to merge the two websites, to take the content of the .org website, move it over to the .gov website. Right, that's something I really want to do, because on the back end, it helps me manage. It's way easier to just work within the back end of one website, but also for a lot of other reasons. We can have analytics for all our web pages in one spot. I mentioned the search. It makes it easier to find all our information. It makes it easier for customers to engage and opt into our email communications. So really the next step is just determining how our main menus nav is going to be structured. My plan is to build out a menu area for customers, and possibly even a menu for members, that just makes it easier for the different types of users we have on that website to find pertinent content to them. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, for a number of reasons. But let's click through to your energy committee, Paul. Yeah, so that's something we'll be working on this fall, and hoping can finish this fall too. And then Terry, I think you had a question about proprietary information. All our information, obviously all our information on our websites, both websites, is public, but one place where we can put information specific to members that I'm working building out is the members area part of the .gov website, which I saved to the end of this presentation. But I don't know, I'm excited about that too. It's coming along. So I'm going to jump through some of this. Email sign-up forms. It's all, you can find it on your specific community web pages. Each one has a kind of a button at the top. Let's go to next. Email outreach. So right now we're really, we have 4 buckets, but I would say 3 main buckets that we're building, which is lists for people that want to receive our newsletters, which we've put out 2 so far. They're based quarterly. Our legislative action alerts, which we've done maybe 6 to 8, a lot in the spring, and our rate announcements, which we did our first for this latest rate change. So people can sign up for all of them. They can sign up for a specific for just one of them. It's entirely up to them. You can get a sense for the format of these, or the template of these specific emails on our news webpage .org/news. There's a section on there where we highlight. This is only the stuff that we choose to the MailChimp emails that we choose to publish here, but you can find our latest newsletter on there, for instance, which is really an amalgamation of all the different news and topics that were covered over the past 3 or 4 months. You can find here's the rate announcement email we did. It's sort of the template that we've started using for that, and these legislative action alerts or regulatory update type emails. Here's an example of that. So just one thing to touch quickly on this. So these emails, we made the templates really easy to share. You can share them on social. You can share them through email. For when you get them in your inbox, just forwarding that email to another person messes up the template. So if you use these specific share features, the template will remain. And what's great is that we have our links to our sign up form right there within the template. So if you forward it to your constituents, to your energy committee folks, they can just go straight into that email template and sign up, opt in themselves. That's email. The blog, the news website itself, in the blog or well, it's basically our blog, but it's where we post our news articles. So when I started here, I really felt we needed some sort of publishing area or publishing platform. I wanted to move a lot of our news content to web pages, so it was more searchable, so it could easily be shared. And so I built out our news hub. That's on the .org website presently. But there's some great content on there. A lot of the stuff I already mentioned. But if you go to this is a blog, but essentially you can find all the news articles that we've published to date on there. What's great about these individual posts, these individual news articles, is that they're also easily shareable. You have the ability to share the post by social media or direct email, as well as print it out for copy reasons. And then I sort of set up buckets for the various news categories. Right now we have 4. There's sort of a general news and updates, a regulatory and legislative information, news articles, events and announcements. This is where our rate announcement was published to. Should be. Sorry. And then more of a kind of like a staff and spotlight behind the scenes stuff. So this is sort of a building out, an area that's being built out with each quarterly newsletter, because a lot of the content within the quarterly newsletter is built as its own individual blog or news web page. And then a link is provided to it from the quarterly newsletter to that landing page. That's the news blog site. Interactive member map. This was something that was launched a couple months ago. See if I can. So it's embedded on a couple places within both websites. I think one of the best. This is probably its largest location. On the About Us page, you can use the anchor link map. Go straight to it. It's basically a digital map that you can roll over to learn more about which communities are in which states, whether they've officially launched or they're operating. You can roll over to identify who the primary and alternate representatives are for each community. This is kind of a feature that we have a data visualization tool that we have on the back end called Infogram that we use to build out this and the rate table. We can update this information on the back end. I think it's a really neat kind of a tool that users on the website can really learn more about the organization.
I'll just add in real quick, Nick, and I'm really pleased with how you're integrating Infogram to our website. I think it's really stepped up the content area significantly. And we could, potentially start using an example is this map feature to maybe highlight projects like Poverty Plains subscribers is one idea, or starting to highlight some other sort of neat things that members are engaged with beyond just general member rep alternate info. So that's a consideration that I know there's some interest in.
And so the map content and the rate tables, which we'll discuss in a moment, are all built in infogram and it's embedded on the web page. Each of these embedded features has these similar share features or full display, and then the rate tables, you can actually download versions of them, which we'll go over in just a second. And then there's a direct link to just the full table, or in this case, the full map that users can share that directly, and so it's a little larger on a little larger screen there. Go back. All right. So
can I say, I know you have enough work as it is, but maybe something else you might want to consider or think about at some point in time. If we scroll over a place or click on a place like New Market, that it also gives you the ability to see statistics for a new market, like the number of accounts, basically maybe the member services report there, the number of accounts, how many are clean 100, clean 50 type of stuff. Just something for you to work on in case you have some extra time.
I want to have Jackson touch base because I think you're talking about the community benefit reports.
Yeah, or the opt action reports as well. But yeah, Joe, it is a good idea. It's something that we've been talking about how to best handle. And I think Nick's going to talk about the members area of the website that he's building out. And I think that type of information we could potentially house within that members area in the future. I've been starting to work with Scott on how can we establish, data linkages, or, how can we sort of have regular updates into a dashboard type format. It might not be a map specifically, Joe, but some other easy drop down function that allows yourself or someone else from New Market or another community to directly access their specific statistics across a variety of different areas. So yeah, we definitely want to get there. We know it will be super useful, but it may be in a slightly different format than this.
Fine, so long as it's kind of like on the radar.
Right, it is for sure.
We can build out kind of unique dashboards and infogram. And, yeah, definitely on the radar. Our interactive rate tables. These are also built on the infogram right now. They're all on the .gov website. They're in really three main spots on the residential rates and commercial rates web pages, and on each community page. An element that I can touch base on the drop downs in a second, but this is kind of this is the embedded portion of it right here. I mentioned that you can actually download this table in various formats, and just like with a map, you can have share it in a couple different ways or view it on full screen. Rate announcements was this was my first time going through a rate announcement, and it was exciting, and it gave me the opportunity to try a couple new things. And that one of that was using these rate tables, these kind of interactive elements, but also setting up drop downs that would show rate tables based on specific parameters that a user put in. Right now we're on the residential rates web page. You could see community power rates by your utility. And so building this feature was, it was a fun challenge. If you go to the individual community pages, use Atkinson, we were able to build out the drop down showing rates based on the utilities active within that specific community. So if you go to Barrington, it'll show our Eversource data, our community power rates for Eversource. Let's see, there's Campton for both Eversource and the co-op. Yeah, and so right now the community pages have this. So any community page can view the rates in any community or any of our member communities. And what's the other thing? And this information is all easily shareable. And if you have a local adder, local rate, blanking on who has a local rate.
You could pick Enfield.
There you go. It will show.
Or Canterbury.
Actually. There we go. It'll show your local rate options in the table too. Right now the residential rate tables are embedded on each community page. There's we haven't put the commercial rate tables on each community page. That's maybe something we could talk about for the next rate announcement. But all this information, again, it's turning these community web pages to a one-stop shop where we have this is the next thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, do you want to mention it? Maybe it's okay. You're going to talk about it here. Never mind. But yeah, I think the drop down features and showing sort of when you select your community, your specific two or three, or maybe it's one utility options come up. It's a vast improvement. I know from a user standpoint, we've gotten some good feedback that it was very easy to navigate and find information, whether it was through the specific community page or through the general, like either residential or commercial hub option.
Yeah, so part of leading up to rate changes was rebuilding the community web pages. Jackson mentioned turning these pages into what's called dynamic content, or pieces of content could be standardized across each page, as well as other piece of content being unique to each page. And so each community page now has a consistent look and feel to it. However, there's elements, obviously, specific to that community that are added in. The goal is really to make these a one-stop shop for your customers within your community. So we were able to add the customer portal up there and get it at the top of the page and make it front and center. And then obviously the rate table is specific to that community. And then there's some great content just generally about community power, and obviously, and then highlighting the representatives for that community. And I mentioned contact center and email opt-in items are now on each community web page. And there's a navigation system all at the top to help users kind of work their way around the page and find specific elements. So each page kind of maintains a unique identity specific to your community. The imagery, the logos, the about community power section, the information on the community representatives, and then there are these standardized features across each page. Just on this, within the website, the .gov navigational structure, you can see it's .gov/community/community name. However, each community maintains a more simplified URL that was there before, just .gov/community name. So we didn't lose any of the those links are out there, so we're not losing any of that traffic from sending those old links to a 404 page. It's just redirected. So you can continue sharing out a more simplified URL for your community web pages. And these are all mobile friendly. Everything we've been building is really made sure that it maintains is mobile friendly. Anything about the community web pages? All right.
No, not seeing anything at this point, Nick. Thanks.
All right, where we at? Files.com nav. So the files.com system, it's embedded on our .org website. It's the same structure, the public that we've had before. I made it a little more visible within the main nav. Within the files, this filing system, you can find minutes to board meetings, committee meetings, the reports that we were just talking about, financial documents. A lot of it's the same stuff that we want to make sure is publicly available. Navigating this file structure, you can open these URLs and their same unique landing on their own tab, and basically just go through each folder system. If you wanted to share specific folders, you can just right-click on it, copy link address, and then you'll be sharing the direct URL for that entire folder system or that entire document within there. Yeah, there's not a lot of change on the files.com system. I think it was important to have that within the main navigation of the website there. Anything you want to add for that, Jackson?
No, I mean, it's a pretty smooth tool to organize some of our key documents and other types of reports on the back end, and it embeds nicely into the Wix environment. Really, Nick covered that one nice trick, which is, copying the link address right from the link when you're sharing out a folder for someone to get into, so then they don't have to sort of start at the beginning and work through the whole folder navigation portion of things. But other than that, we are going to keep using that to house things for the time being, but we would love to, for key stats and other information that communities are interested in, to move more towards that interactive dashboard system rather than stagnant PDF reports. So I'm excited on regarding what that could look like for the coalition going forward.
I want to touch base on this next thing. Do it quickly. It's on the .org website. It's our calendar webpage, which hasn't really changed much, but this is where we post. Here it goes. So it's a widget embedded on the website, so it takes its own time. This is where we publish the information, our public notices about board and committee meetings. And right below, I've made the files section, files.com folder system specific to board and committee minutes, easily accessible. A new page that we recently added is for the office hours, to have a one-stop shop for joining these office hours, but also finding past recordings of them and learning what is coming up. So we encourage you to share this out with energy committee members that might be interested in some of these topics. And we keep the calendar updated. We keep it current, so we're not gonna. So these topics it may shift a little bit depending on, but we provide enough notice. So that's the office hours, and so we'll also be archiving our past recordings on here. Eventually, we'll put these into drop downs based on topic or something like that. All right, and this is the part I'm really excited about. It's our new members area. So this provides an opportunity for you all to kind of get a first look at this, access it, maybe even set up your own accounts. This is something I've been working on in the past few weeks. We want to build a specific spot for members to be able to access the general public could not see the same content within there. Right now I'm logged in, but if you were not logged in, if you were not a member, you wouldn't see any of this stuff. You would have to log in, which we approve on our end. So it's not like anyone can get access to this. We know who's going to sign up and log in. So when you do sign up, it will be always default to the login form. You want to make sure you sign up on this end.
This login would be different than the onboard, or could it be the same?
Yep. This is totally different from onboard.
Well, what my point is that I don't like to. Could I have the same login so I don't have to remember? Yeah. All right.
You can use the same password that you'd use for your same login credentials that you'd use for onboard. So when you first set up your account, you want to start with the sign up form. I'll get a notification on my end, and then give me a little time, but I'll approve you, and you can go in and start building stuff out. So when you do log back in, you use the login form here. I go through, see if it works. There it goes. So this is what you'll see when you're logged in. You'll see other site members, and you'll see groups, which is not accurate, but fix that. Some of the stuff is still in dev. Here it goes. There's a main navigation here. But if you use your the login box, you can access all the pages and content that will be accessible to only the people with access to this this members area. You can personalize what information that you want to share with other members. This is an opportunity to include your bio, include information, maybe include your LinkedIn profile, or highlight what's unique, what's important to you about your community power, or what's important to your specific member community. You can include your URLs, your community power web pages on here. And if you public profile, this is what other members will see. This is the content other members will see. Yeah, and so once you build that out and you make, I believe there might be a step of making it public, but making it public is only making it public to other members who are signed up for this area. You'll see it on the member's home. You'll see it as a site member here. And we have little badges for staff and members we're building out. There'll be some exclusive, sure I wrote everything here. Yeah, there'll be some exclusive content that is still being developed, but we're working on building out a directory of the email and any phone numbers that you've made available to us that you're okay with us sharing on this back end that only other members can have access to, can be able to view. We're talking about putting member and board handbooks on this back end. And then one thing we are still kind of noodling around with is a kind of a group discussion board area where members can bring up topics related to community power, the energy industry. I can just show you what that looks like. So it's sort of a back-end discussion board that can be used for, more general topics, obviously, that would be discussed during a committee or board meeting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, thanks, Nick. I think that's a great overview. I just wanted to add a little bit to some of what you're saying, and that we've been hearing quite a bit of feedback from folks within the membership that they would like easier ways to maybe collaborate, communicate with one another, to try to work on solving problems together, to create a better sense of community. That whole idea of using the coalition for co-production of knowledge. And so what Nick's built here is I think a great landing page to really launch some of that into the next phase by having the members directory feature, the discussion board possibilities, and other things, so that we can have more collaboration between member reps and energy committees across the state than maybe we're getting now through CPCNH. So that's the core sort of concept, and then there's some great other material that's more that's not necessarily needed for the general public, but it's more geared towards board directors and member reps that could be housed here as well.
I can see this being a good place to put things like talking points, like when the rates came out, and say, I don't want to go out and say something that maybe contradictory to, what CPCNH is saying.
Yep, that could be good as well. Of course, we'll still try to be good about sharing sort of key material and things directly over the various email campaigns that Nick was saying. So this will not necessarily be a primary way for staff to communicate, but I think it's more for folks within the coalition framework to engage with one another.
Any questions on the members areas section? You're all welcome to create your profile and log in. We're going to share this out more broadly in the coming weeks. I want to build out some of the content on there. You'll probably see some half-built content some places. But if you want to test it out, please let me know of any feedback or issues you come across. One, building profiles or navigating around it, because like I said, this is still an active dev mode, and I'm really looking for folks to explore it. Just give me feedback. From a user perspective, what might work better. In terms of the content that we put back there, we're still mentioned we have a couple of pieces of content that I'm still building out. At a member services level, we're still discussing sort of some of the other things that might be put back there specifically for members to access.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Nick. I think this was a really well done and really comprehensive overview of a lot of the major updates and tools that we're utilizing to engage with folks. So I really appreciate you putting together this content. And we'll, as we've stated, we'll have a recording available for others that weren't able to make the session live. But thanks for everyone that was able to come live and engage. And we're always looking for feedback, areas for improvements and refinements, and a couple major things to recap that we're super excited about. I think this members area is one of them. Another one is this website merger project that I think everyone will be happy with once that's completed. But at this point, I guess we'll look for any final comments or questions from the group for closing out.
And Nick, I did want to thank you. I have noticed over the past few months the improvements on the website. I've reported them out to the Energy Committee, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question. So are we going to be able to get at the member services reports through this, or do we continue through SharePoint?
Those are the opt action reports.
I'm sorry. I mean, the opt action reports is what I'm mainly interested in.
Yeah, I mean, they typically make it first into the onboard environment for the committee. And then there's a public link there. We could consider posting those in this members area. It's an idea. I don't think we've fully thought through how that might look quite yet. If that's what you're asking. And then
I know I can get at them. But right. A lot of people can't or don't know where to go.
Right. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Other than that, thank you. I appreciate this.
Well, I did say I'm very happy with the progress, and it's looking very, very good.
Yeah, it's been exciting to make a lot of these updates across the web and roll them out. Be really excited once we have one website. make a lot of people's lives easier, I think. So stay tuned.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.